wake up, victory's mine. On top, still on the grind. Gotta go get it right now. Holla at me if you with me. It's time.
I think the stars above. I know that we're gonna make it.
It'll take or without, we gon' make it. Show the world that I shine in our greatness. Keep it real, never gon' fake this. So we make it.
Peace and balance, and welcome to the Expanded Star YouTube page. My name is Rose, for some of you guys that may not know me, and in today's video I want to talk about toxic relationship. Now, what brought me to even think about talking about this subject is the fact that I had made a video about this about, like 5 or 6 months ago, but a couple months ago when I first began my expansion journey, or when I first became aware of it and decided to take action and actually like put it in play and actually become, manifest my full potential, or become more aware of myself and be on this journey of self-discovery. So I just wanted to make a part 2 of that, since I did say I was going to make a part 2 then. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to learn more about toxic relationship. Now let's get into this video. So I know for some of you guys, what may first come to mind when it comes to toxic relationship is negative, bad, oh my gosh, stop, like, so today I just want to let you guys know that there's different ways to look at everything in life. There's a yin and yang to everything. I think most of you guys should already know that. So therefore, when it comes to toxic relationship, it applies also. There's a reason why we experience more toxic relationship than good, or what's supposed to be perfect relationship, but I would say good relationship, just so we can be on the same page. Bad relationship, good relationship. But most of us experience more of the bad relationship, which we consider toxic relationship. Now, before I even move further into this video, I took some note and I broke down the definition of both toxic relationships, so I can bring to you guys what exactly is that I found, and then I'm gonna go deep into it. So yeah, so in toxic relationship we have the word toxic and we have the word relationship. Now when I break down the word toxic, before I even look at my notes, we already know what toxic is. Something that's bad for us, something that's poisonous, something that's, that can cause us to become ill, so, but the definition that I came on to was poisonous, very bad, unpleasant, harmful, but also I found that the word actually originates from a Greek word, toxin, which means bow, a bow. Now what is a bow? A bow is a knot, it's a tied knot, right, with 2 loops and 2 loose ends. It also says that bow means bend, to bend something out of shape, out of its original shape, by applying some kind of pressure. I'm gonna get into that in a minute. Now we have relationships, right? Relationship is the state of being connected, right? We can have a relationship with anybody. We can have a relationship with ourselves, with our phone, electronics, family members, counterparts, whatever. We can have a relationship with. Alright, sorry about that, you guys. That was my son. I had to take care of him real quick. But yeah, back to what I was saying. When it comes to relationship means a state of being connected. And then I had to break down religion. Maybe I need to, but I had to break down relationships. And we have we have relation, and we have ship. We already know is a redoing of something. It's a, like doing something over again, or like some kind of a loop, right? And then we have ship. Ship is your mean of transportation. It can take you from one place to another. You can have an airplane as a ship. We can have a boat as a ship, a spaceship, whatever it is. A ship is a mean of transportation. And then we have relation, which I did not actually know the definition of relation, but what I found out was that relation means it's an astrology term, which actually means motion of a celestial object from one place to another, just like I said about the ship. But this has to do with celestial, esoteric or whatnot, right? So now you guys, for some of you guys, I like to put things together. You guys can actually already see where I'm gonna go with this video, but for some of you guys that may not, stay tuned. So yeah, now let's get back to toxic, right? They say that toxic means a bow, right? Bow. I mean, it comes from a Greek word, which means toxin, which means a bow. And a bow is a knot that is tied. It also can mean bend something, you know. So when we look at toxic relationship, what do we experience? We experience worse fear, we experience pain, we experience, hurt, we experience heightened extreme emotions, right? And what happened after a toxic relationship? You gain more wisdom, you gain more strength, depending on what you did to get out of that toxic relationship. But even if you didn't do much and somebody else had to get you out of that toxic relationship or situation, you still kind of learned something out of that. So you did not come out of that empty-handed. You know how some people say, oh, well, you wasted my time, after a breakup or whatnot. But the thing is that the time that you invested in that relationship, or in that so-called toxic relationship, is actually the time you took. Is the time you did not waste time. Okay, there's a specific reason why you were put into that relationship. Was for you to learn. Was for you to get bent out of shit, get bent out of your comfort, get bent out of your, whatever it is that you may think, you may have thought as what a relationship is supposed to be. Maybe you did not know yourself, maybe you did not know your partner, and that's what that relationship is to show you, was to show you, to learn how to, whatever lesson you needed to gain out of it. For some of you guys, it may be about like not trusting people easily, actually getting to know yourself before you get into any kind of relationship, or you working on yourself before you get into any kind of relationship, because when two people come together, they bring their baggages. You don't know what each individual has gone throughout the upbringing. So therefore, you don't know what you're putting yourself into. Because some of you guys, some of us, a lot of us like to show off best quality, or trying to put this image out there of ourselves, and when it's not looked apart, or when the veil starts to come out slowly but surely, and your partner did not know that, or whoever it is that you're trying to get to know did not know that aspect of yourself, now it creates this tension towards you. Slowly but surely, you guys are going to start drifting away, because the relationship did not start on truth, it did not start on realness, it started on fictitious, fairy tale kind of relationship. So you have to ask yourself, why did you experience that, right? What action did you take for you to get sucked into those circumstances to where those things happen to you? So that's where I'm gonna emphasize on the bow, the tie, the soul tie, energy ties. Maybe you've been with that person for a long period of time, or in your past life. For some of you guys, I believe in past life. For you guys that don't, oh well. In this channel, I believe in past lives. So when it comes to relationship or toxic relationship, the person you're with is somebody that you've been with for the longest, and you guys have experienced so much of each other that you guys have lost track of your individuality. And the reason why you start to pinpoint more of like the negative trait of your partner, whoever it may be, then that's to show you that how much you've been lost in that relationship, how much you've been tied together, and one of you guys has to be the bigger person and look at this and like, oh yeah, this is not gonna go anywhere, and we're just kind of like playing boxes for each other, basically keeping each other in a trap, in a loop. You guys are being each other's enemy, not friend. You guys may be lovey and have all these feelings for each other, but you being together and knowing how the relationship is, and how much you guys have to sacrifice just to be together, to where as though the amount of sacrifice you guys even make does not take you anywhere, but just more toxic shit happening in your life. So you have to know that it's a soul tie. Therefore, one person has to be the bigger person and actually break that relationship off, or untie that knot that has been tied for so long. And of course, one person is not going to be easy, because the soul tie is so strong, depending on how long, so it's gonna take courage, it's gonna take strength. You definitely have to get out of your feelings, and kind of assess the situation outside of yourself without involving any kind of emotion that will actually suck you back in the relationship. Because it might get hard, since the other person might not get the full picture of what is actually going on, what was going on, or why it is that you're breaking things off. So it's your job to actually be the tough person and do what needs to be done to allow that other person to fully be able to detach from you, whether it's you having to, you know, kind of get your own space and not be get it for a while, you know, like kind of give them their own space or whatnot, and allow each party to heal. So now we know that. And then when it comes to bending, you guys are breaking. What happens when you bend something? When you bend something, it breaks, right? When you break it, what happens? It creates some kind of separation. And once that separation happens, that means that those two pieces or whatever aspect that broke down is experiencing different spaces in that space that they're in. So becoming, when you one with somebody, you experience a specific space. When you break out of, you know, when you break off, you both experience in different spaces. And however, so when it applies to toxic relationship, as far as like toxic meaning bending something, the relationship is bending you, is breaking you down. That's why you feel broke down. That's why you feel, you know, like a piece of you has been ripped off, or is being ripped off slowly but surely, because you're losing aspect of yourself that you clinged onto that wasn't really you, that wasn't really who you are. And that relationship is there to actually put you in a space where you actually become to start to discover yourself, start to discover your weakness and your strength, and apply it, or become more of it, you know. Excuse me, that's my son in the background laughing, but yeah, become more of it. So yeah, that's what that's what I feel as though that is when it comes to toxic. But now let's get in relationship. Now relationship is pretty easy. Any relationship that you're in is a space that you experience that takes you from one place to another, okay, whether it be internally or outside of you, you know. It's all about expansion, you guys. It's all about growing. It's all about changes continuously. So any relationship that you get in is for you to upgrade a certain aspect of yourself, because you're reflecting a certain part of yourself through that other party, through that other thing, you know. So everything is here to teach you. You learn from everything. You don't just learn from one space, okay. So that's why we go through different relationships, experiencing different things, having different outcome, having different results. So yeah, overall, right, when it comes to toxic relationship, try not to look at it as like a bad thing. Try not to cling on to it too much. Try not to play the pity party, because it takes two to make one. It takes two to make one. Okay, so it takes you and the other person, or whatever it may be, to come together and apply whatever you guys applied into whatever both your energy into whatever it is, and create that outcome. Just like in chemistry class, when you put two elements together, it can be harmonious or it can be toxic and create a catastrophe. So you have to know your energies, and you have to know whatever other party energy also, to see if it's something that actually you can mix well with. Because you can either create a good, you know, outcome or a bad outcome. But either way, it's still like the bad outcome is there to show you and reflect aspect of yourself that needs healing, that needs upgrading. And the good relationship is there for you to enjoy and actually experience those other aspects of yourself. You know, that good aspect is actually put your, you know, yourself in a different space. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but just know, like, you experience good and bad for different reasons, and there's bad and good, and there's good and bad also. So we can't look at anything as like, oh, this is bad, this is good. It's all about what is good and bad for you. Once you figure that out, when you find out who you truly are, you get to know your energy, and you get to know whatever energy or whatever it is that you're about to get into, whether it be a partner or a thing or a place, whatever it may be. Understand the energy that's within that space, so that you can become aware whether or not that's actually something that's good for you or bad for you, so you can make a decision whether it's something you want to move forward into, or let it go and go find something else that maybe that match more into your energy. So yeah, you guys, I'm about to give you some tips on what it is that you can watch out for when you get in any kind of relationship. Tip number 1: before you get in any kind of relationship, ask yourself if it's a relationship that you necessarily need to get into at that specific time. Because again, timing is really important when you're trying to get into anything, you know. If you're not an intuitive person, and you don't look into astrology, then you more than likely you might make a lot of mistakes. And it's not to say that mistakes are bad. Mistakes actually allow you to, you know, learn from it, and become more aware in that space. You become more wise, basically. So therefore you're not going to be able, you're not going to experience that space again, if you were to be put in that, you know and you can actually be able to help anybody else that might actually end up getting into that space. That's what comes with that. But actually know, like, the energies, actually know, like, if that's actually something that you should get into. Get to know the person more before you jump into anything more with them, or with whatever it is. Get to know yourself, basically. I know I'm not even going in order anymore, but you guys can make it up. Get to know yourself, get to know your energy. You can use astrology, you can do all that, but what it takes is you actually go internally. And I always say this, baby, no. And I always say this, it takes inner silence, getting to know yourself, observing your every move, and see the outcome of anything that you might put yourself there. Anything you might put yourself into. If you do something, see what happens afterwards. See how it makes you feel. If you get triggered by anything, basically, like, it's so much deeper. I might have to make a part 3 so I can break those down even more. But just know that the main important thing for you to do before you jump in any kind of relationship is to actually learn elements. Elements are really important because they play a big part into this reality that we're in, especially water, air, earth, fire. Learn about the elements. You don't need to if you're already an intuitive person. I didn't have to read a book, or I didn't have to actually learn it, because I already I'm very intuitive. I just go with my own flow, to where as though whatever is meant for me to know, something is gonna happen, to where as though I'm gonna gain insight or more awareness into whatever it is that I need to at that specific time. Because I don't cling on to anything. I don't have no title. I don't look at myself higher than anybody or lower than anybody. I'm not into any religion. I don't associate myself with titles, basically. Even my name, I only use it because it's what, but I don't cling on to it. I don't identify with it. I identify with nothing. Therefore, I'm able to manifest everything into my space, or anything that is necessary for me to, because I understand myself, and I may not understand fully myself, because it's a journey, but I understand myself to an extent, to where so I can be like, oh yeah, I know, what it is that works for me and what doesn't, which is why I was even able to make this YouTube in the first place, because I gained enough insight and I experienced enough things in my life to put me in a place where I can be an example for other people, to know what and what not to do, basically. And I'm not sure if this video is gonna be, because my son is really he's always waiting until I make a video to come in trying to speak, but he's copying me. It's okay though. But anyways, I know I'm rambling about myself, but that's just all to tell you that it takes you knowing yourself. And if you're afraid of going into different in any kind of situation, then I'm telling you, you're living in La La Land, because that's inevitable. You're gonna be put in tough situation. Even more so, the more you run away from that. That's what you're going to keep attracting. So embrace the bad as you embrace the good, because they go hand in hand. One wouldn't be able to be in play or be sparked without the other. It always takes two elements to create one. Always remember that. So when you think you're doing good or whatnot, also see the bad within that. If you think somebody else is bad, or wanna also see the good within that, or what you're gaining from that, because it exists in anything. It exists in everything, basically. So